such an amazing blend. It's Petit Verdot, Merlot, a little bit of Tannat. Oh, it's just so intense. It has Cab Franc in it. It's wonderful with this recipe. I had the opportunity to share a meal with a friend of mine, Dave Leafy, and he made the most incredible shiitake mushroom sauce on filet. And I said, Dave, do you mind if I adapt this for the show? So he gave me permission. So today we're going to make a tenderloin of beef that has a mushroom rub, and then I'm gonna finish it with my adaptation on that sauce. So in my food processor, I want to put about 3 cups of wild mushrooms. Now I have some porcinis, I have some dried chanterelles, I have a little morel, and then I have shiitakes. So I'm gonna put all those right in the food processor. Now I'm gonna add to that a little bit of garlic salt, a little bit of onion powder, some salt, some parsley, a little bit of pepper, and just a touch of cayenne. Now the cayenne doesn't make this hot, it just adds to the flavor profile. And then I want to process this until it's nice and coarsely ground. All right, so I've processed this. It really looks just like a nice rub of any kind, but wow, it has a great smell and an intense flavor. So I'm just gonna pour that in a little bowl and take out about 1/4 cup to rub this filet. So I have about a 3-pound center cut tenderloin here. This is just a beautiful beef, and I've trimmed it up a lot. And what I want to do with this 1/4 cup is just give it a good rub. Now the reason that I did this, pulled out just a little bit, is because I don't want to get any kind of residual beef blood over into the whole batch. That way I have it to use on other occasions. And I love to rub beef and pork, and I might even try this on a little pork just to see what it comes out like. But this is just so delicious on beef. So let's give it a rub all on the ends as well, because we want to make sure everything is fully coated. Now, if you have any left in your cup once you're finished with that, you can just kind of hold it until you put it in your rack and then rub the top again, but make sure that you throw this part away and don't put it back into your big container of rub. Now, what I've done here is I've taken some onions, some carrots, some celery. I didn't peel anything, I just chunked it. And what I want to do is create a rack that will allow me to roast the beef without getting into its own drippings. So here we've got this beautiful roast, and I'm just going to lay it to the center, and then I want to come back with that and just make sure that I have rub absolutely everywhere, at least on the top. Okay, now I'm going to put this in an oven at 450 degrees for 15 minutes. Then I'm going to reduce that heat to 350 and roast it for another 45 until it comes to about 135 degrees. So let's look at this delicate sauce. There's no butter involved in this, which really surprised me. So I'm going to take a little bit of cream sherry, about 1/4 cup of cream sherry, and then I want to take 3 small shallots or 1 very large shallot. And this one was huge. So I have 1 large shallot that I chopped pretty finely. Now let's just saute that around a little bit. Of course, it's not sauteing, we're not in fat, but we're going to simmer it, bring it to a simmer to get some of that great flavor out of those shallots. Right, and I want to add a little salt and pepper. Right now, I'm just going to sprinkle with a little salt and pepper. I can go back later and add more. Now I want to let this simmer for, 3 or 4 minutes. Let's let those shallots start soaking in that deliciousness of the sherry, and then we're going to add some mushrooms. All right, our shallots are starting to become translucent and they look beautiful. Now I want to add some wild mushrooms and some baby bellas. So I've got some shiitakes, I've got some exotic mushrooms in here, just a little bit of a blend of everything. As I add, I try to stir through to make sure everything is coated with that sherry and shallot. Once those mushrooms are all nicely coated, I just want to give a little sprinkle of flour, no more than about a tablespoon for this entire amount. We don't want a thickened sauce, but I also don't want it to be so milky and soupy. So I'm just going to give it a sprinkle, again, about a tablespoon overall. Stir that to cook it through. Now let's add 1.25 cups of heavy cream, and we'll just let that simmer. So this amazing tenderloin of beef that's rubbed with wild mushrooms and this delicious sauce. And I served it up with a little bit of sweet potato and a green bean almondine. So with this kielravak, it's an incredible meal. I hope you will enjoy this one as well. From Rosemont Vineyards.